Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful episode of the periodic table of elements. I know it's been a while since I put a video out. In fact, the introduction video I put out was, I believe, back in June, so it has been quite some time. But here we go. We're going to dive back into the subject. So, in the periodic table of elements, if you remember correctly and you looked at that video and have watched that introductory video, I mentioned that it's arranged both by periods and by groups. The periods go across horizontal and the groups go horizontally. Well, in this video, I'm going to briefly mention the names of the groups, or at least get started on that, and also some examples from each. Now, remember, if you haven't already been listening or you went by too fast, the groups are the columns, that is the horizontal arrangement of the periodic table. Well, how many groups are there? Well, there's a total of 18 groups, and group 1 starts on the left, and then it goes from left to right, so you have group 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 18. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's get into group 1. Group 1 is referred to as the alkali metals. Now, in this column, there is one element which is excluded from this group, and that is hydrogen, the very first element, which is, of course, the lightest and the most abundant element. Now, it would be better described as a reactive nonmetal, but not an alkali metal. Just keep that in mind. Now, some examples of alkali metals are as follows. There is lithium, sodium, and potassium, which I'm pretty sure you've heard of all of these, and I'll be talking more about these in individual videos as I go through each one of the elements from the periodic table. Now, you might at this point ask me, why is this group called alkali metals? Ever thought about that? Why they're called alkali metals? Well, the reason is this. The reaction with water forms alkalis, which are, of course, strong bases that are capable of neutralizing acids, and that's why they call them alkali metals. Alright, now let's move on to group number 2. Group number 2 is referred to as the alkali earth metals. This group is next to group 1, so group 1's on the left, the farthest left on the table. So the one next to that is group 2, the alkali earth metals. And it actually includes two elements which most, if not all of us, have heard of and are familiar with and interact with on a fairly regular basis, and that is magnesium and calcium. Pretty cool to think about now. Now, like the previous group, you see the word alkali, and what is different is instead of just alkali metals, it's alkali earth metals. Now, the metals in this group are highly reactive, reducing agents. That just simply means this, that they readily give up electrons to other substances, thus reducing themselves in the process. Now, with the exception of radium, all of the metals and their compounds find commercial application to some degree, especially magnesium and calcium. And by commercial application, that means it's just something that's used, sold, and bought, and used in a variety of products, both directly sold magnesium and calcium, but also they're integrated in other things as well that are sold in the market. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my first video on the periodic table dealing with the groups. Look forward to another video coming soon. Have a nice day, take care, and goodbye.